One superhero who's always fascinated fans is the Incredible Hulk. He's two superheroes in one, and one of the most powerful creatures in the galaxy. Sadly, we missed our dear friend Hulk during Avengers Infinity War, but we have some interesting ideas on what might happen with him during Endgame. The dual nature of the Hulk versus Bruce Banner is something that both fascinates audiences and makes these characters difficult to portray on the big screen. For most of his appearances in both the comic books and the MCU, Hulk is an absolutely unstoppable force, whose only desire is to smash everything in his sight, and he isn't always great at distinguishing friend from foe. In these circumstances, what makes him an amazing ally also makes him a dangerous enemy. As brilliant and well-intentioned as Bruce Banner is, the fact that he can transform into a nearly unstoppable killing machine at any given moment makes things a bit precarious. But if you've been following the character during his time in the MCU, you've probably noticed the Hulk has been going through some changes. During Thor Ragnarok, Hulk was speaking in complete sentences and was able to make decisions beyond to smash or not to smash, which is usually his only question. In fact, he even demonstrated the ability to remember past events and make decisions based on his experiences, such as when he determined that Thor was his friend and thus falls into the do not smash category. Not decimating your pals may not seem that impressive, but when you consider Hulk's earlier appearances, it's clear a shift is happening. And it's not just happening with the Hulk. It's no secret that Bruce Banner isn't exactly thrilled about being a conduit for the Hulk, and it's something which has plagued him for years. Everyone knows he was hit with a blast of gamma radiation which led to the creation of the Hulk. He's a character who, as he famously said, is always angry. In the comic books, we learn details about his horribly abusive father and the rage he carries regarding his childhood. His inner rage is what fused with the gamma radiation in order to create the Hulk. Many of us struggle with anger issues in real life, but Banner's has now been taken to a whole new level. While Banner can be understandably nervous from time to time, Hulk is known for being fearless. This made it especially confusing that he was so afraid of Thanos, he reverted back to Banner for the entirety of Infinity War. Sure, Thanos is pretty terrifying, but none of our other heroes fled, and the Hulk in particular has a reputation for being fearless and single-minded. According to the Russo brothers, Hulk is sick and tired of being called upon to risk his life in order to save Banner. If you think about it, not only has the Hulk been formed out of rage and radiation, but he only ever comes out when things are going horribly, and then he immediately transforms back into Banner when things calm down. While there was no shortage of fighting on Sakaar, Hulk proved that, given the chance and some time, he's capable of learning language and doing things other than fighting. Now that we know what he's capable of, it's clear this Banner-Hulk dynamic isn't any easier on him than it is on Banner, which is a perspective many of us hadn't considered up until this point. So what does the Hulk's actions during Infinity War say about what'll take place during Avengers Endgame and beyond? Unlike some of his fellow Avengers, Hulk has only had a single standalone movie, and that's due to the difficulties of his character. You either have Bruce Banner, who's just a regular guy with no superpowers, or a completely out-of-control character. But in the comic books, a compromise is able to be reached between the personalities and abilities of Hulk and Banner, and this is known as Professor Hulk. In addition to the mental and emotional evolution of Hulk in the MCU, fans point to new promo art which seems to show a much more humanoid Hulk than we're used to seeing. In the comic books, Banner and Hulk finally get a chance to talk to one another, and things don't exactly go well at first. But eventually, thanks to some therapy, the two are able to make a tentative peace and integrate their minds. This creates a character known as Professor Hulk, with the brilliant mind of Bruce Banner and the love of battle of the Hulk. And Professor Hulk would undoubtedly be an interesting addition to the MCU. Then there are some people who think it'd be for the best if Banner and Hulk end up even more separate from one another. One interesting and troubling aspect of the character is just how much do the two intersect with one another, and what would be left if you removed one of them at this point? Well, some wonder if this'll be something we'll see explored during Endgame. During the trailer, we saw Banner gazing at images of many of the characters presumed dead following the events of Infinity War. Of course, as we later learn, Scott Lang is very much alive and still borrowing his buddy Lewis's van. Banner is a scientist and a hero, so it's not surprising to find him studying the situation. But what if there was an added incentive for this particular inquiry. If Banner and the Hulk are truly two separate beings, what if the Hulk perished during the decimation but Banner lived on because of pure luck? As much as we love the Hulk, it would be truly fascinating to see what Banner's life and personality would look like after having fused with the Hulk, and then having him ripped away. Is it possible he would regret losing Hulk, or would his overwhelming emotion be relief? At times, Banner has treated Hulk as nothing more than a burden, and it's not hard to see why, but he also recognizes his importance and the good he can do. It raises some interesting moral and ethical questions, and it would be fascinating to see how Banner deals with them. It also raises the question of just how determined Banner would be to help undo the decimation caused by Thanos if he prefers to live life without the Hulk. We fully expect to see the results of the decimation be undone during Endgame, though the how is still up in the air at this point. This does not mean we're saying Hulk would have to be gone for good though. Maybe spending some time apart would turn out to be a good thing for these two characters as they move forward in the MCU. But there are some fans who'd prefer if we saw less of Bruce Banner and more of the pure, unbridled strength of the Hulk that we've come to know and love over the years. There are many different versions of the Hulk in the comic books, and some of them are stronger than others. Some fans believe it's well past time we see a truly overpowered Hulk in the MCU, especially in light of the fact that the character was pretty much entirely absent from the huge movie which was Infinity War. We've seen many impressive feats of strength from Hulk during his time in the MCU, but that is nothing compared to the crazy things he's done over the course of the comic books. He's punched Superman himself straight up into outer space, ripped Wolverine in half, and even punches the very fabric of time and space. Our heroes using time vortexes inside the quantum realm is a popular theory to explain how time travel may be utilized during Endgame. But imagine just having Hulk straight up punch his way back to the past! In the comics, Kang the Conqueror sends Hulk back in time, and on the way, he encounters a time storm, which he defeats via punching. They say time is the great equalizer, but apparently not when it comes to the Hulk. Okay, so we don't think the Hulk is really gonna punch his way through time in Endgame, but we're saying there's a possibility we may see an even more powerful Hulk than we're used to seeing within the MCU. Thanos has always been a very powerful enemy, but now with the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones, it seems as though he's nearly unstoppable. There are a lot of theories out there about how our heroes could defeat Thanos, and a popular one involves them traveling through time in order to gather up the Infinity Stones before Thanos has a chance to do so. Whether our heroes gather the stones from various points in the MCU's history or somehow manage to retrieve them from the clutches of Thanos, the question remains. What are they going to do with them? If they want to use them in order to defeat Thanos or undo the decimation itself, it's not gonna be easy. Thanos is one of the strongest characters around, and even he was unable to use the Infinity Stones without the Infinity Gauntlet. At the end of Infinity War, we saw that using the Gauntlet had left Thanos injured, and the Gauntlet seemingly destroyed. Based on what we know about the powers of the Infinity Stones and the lengths which must be gone through to contain them, it stands to reason that our heroes are going to need to create some type of containment apparatus in order to store, let alone utilize them. During Infinity War, Doctor Strange flat out said he would sacrifice Tony Stark and Peter Parker if it meant protecting the Time Stone from Thanos. But later on, he was able to find a single future out of over 14 million in which our heroes triumphed. After learning new information, Doctor Strange then traded the Time Stone in exchange for Tony's life. This was a risky move to say the least, especially since Thanos could have just taken the Time Stone and then killed Tony and Doctor Strange. But he didn't, and Tony survived the decimation, leading fans to believe he may play an integral part in Endgame and the destruction of Thanos. Tony is a brilliant inventor with a wealth of, well, actual wealth, but also resources. It doesn't seem too crazy to speculate that he may be the one responsible for creating a device which would allow the Infinity Stones to be safely held and utilized once more. But who would be capable of wielding such a device? Pretty much all strictly human characters are out of the running, and we doubt even the super soldier Captain America would survive. Considering who's left of our heroes, it seems like the Hulk would be the ultimate choice. So not only would we need Hulk, but we'd need him at his full strength. We're talking World War Hulk, World Breaker status Hulk here for him to have even a chance of surviving. During that series, Hulk became even more powerful after spending time on planet Sakaar, which is also where he spent years in the MCU, as we learned during Thor Ragnarok. In the comics, he takes on the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, the Avengers, and many more. It seems like there's a distinct possibility we may be seeing the Hulk stronger than ever before during Endgame, and he'll need every bit of that strength if he's going to use the Infinity Stones. Right now, it seems to be a toss-up in the opinion of fans over whether we'll be seeing a more rational, Banner-like version of Hulk, or whether it's time for him to let go of his human side and truly Hulk out like never before. Forget about Star-Lord, Gamora, and their will they or won't they. The relationship between Bruce Banner and Hulk is honestly the most complex and interesting one in the entirety of the MCU. Now that you've heard about some possible ideas from us, what do you think will happen with Bruce Banner and the Hulk in Avengers Endgame? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more MCU content. Thanks for watching.